This is part 1 of my repaint of Marinette Dupain-Cheng Ladybug, where I show how I made her civilian outfit. Information about part 2 is in the description box and in the pinned comment. Have fun watching part 1! Hi, welcome to my lab. I have got a confession. I am a huge fan of Miraculous Ladybug. I know that the show have got many flaws, turtle slow pacing, few terrible writing decisions, solid 5-star cringe scenes, and sometimes it feels like some sort of guilty pleasure show, but I still like it. A lot. It has got many interesting plot points, likable characters, and pretty cool way of fight the villain of the week, which makes me invested.
I like it, don't judge me.
Currently, we are in the middle of very good season 5, and, as we used to in Miraculous fandom, traditionally avoiding leaks and watching pink competition between broadcasters.
How about that?
Anyway, I think that this is a perfect moment to repaint a doll of titular Ladybug and her civilian self, Marinette Dupain-Cheng. I am aware that I am not the first person ever to make a custom Ladybug doll. We have got Ladybugs by Hextian, Harley's Dollhouse, Candy Dolls, to name a few. I wanted to prepare my own for a quite long time, but I wasn't skilled enough to make my idea come to life. Monster High are a very good base for her, and I was going to use Draculaura as my victim, but recently I found on the discount actual Marinette doll by ZAG from official Miraculous doll line, and I decided to try her out because I never seen anybody repainted those dolls. Now you can see very unprofessional unboxing. She looks very cute. The coolest thing in her is that she has got double jointed elbows and knees, and this is standard in all Miraculous doll lines. She's the same height as G1 Monster High dolls, but her proportions are way healthier, so if you want to repaint a character which is more human, she will be a good base. In general, I like her. She's solid middle budget fashion doll. Her quality is good, not outstanding, but definitely not garbage like some very cheap Steve dolls. Outfit is not very detailed, but resembles the one in the show. Face up is fine, she is recognizable, and these smirked lips are pretty unique. Her normal price is $16 and I got her for 9 something. She comes with her purse and this demon-eyed tiki, which really freaks me out. She have got few issues. First are her feet. They are so small. I like that they are flat, which is not common feature in fashion dolls, but they are disproportional compared to her overall body. Her hands are even worse. Again, they are super small, and because of this thick wrist, they reminds me of this tiny hands thing, although it is corrected in her gorgeous deluxe version. Her hair is stiff, glued nylon with bald spot, but honestly, I didn't expect anything else. She has got short hairstyle, which is hard to make by rooting with nylon. Her face up is okay. Little soulless and this pink eyeshadow is not a thing in the show, but she is still recognizable. When I undressed the doll, I realized that her belly part is maybe a little too short, but maybe I am just used to elongated Monster High dolls. Okay, after this very long introduction, I can bring her to my Murine Spa, where each doll is treated like a queen. Here in Murine Spa we offer special and gentle care which leads dolls to their new life in a comfortable environment. We are starting from new haircut, then our favorite decapitation, followed by scalp trepanation and brain extraction. Next, we are fixing the cuts using super glue sutures and finishing the job with relaxing acetone face mask and deep body peeling with sanding blocks. Murine Spa, everything for dolls who wants a new star. I am starting from her outfit. Her top is actually pretty accurate to what we see in the show, but it still can be customized. First, material is not the best quality and hems are curling outside. To fix it, I am using fabric glue. I am just applying a little to the inside of the hem, clip it with hair clips and wait to dry. When we look at Marinette's top, we can see that it has got black hems, so I am just painting them with black fabric paint. And done! Super easy, everyone can do this, and just that makes it way more accurate to the show. Love it, so cute! Pants are more sophisticated. In the show, Marinette wears very cool detailed pink jeans with separated knees and curled outside bottom hems. Pants she came with are none of these, plus they are too short, but still they can serve me as pattern. First I marked where all the details should be using washable markers. I had a problem with material to use. I didn't have a material in exact color which are also stretchy. The one I used for my winter fantasy creature is too dark and the light one is too pastel, but it would be perfect for Marinette's pajamas. By the way, she had got 2 pajamas in the show while only 1 everyday outfit. I had this one which is even closer to the color in the show but it is not stretchy, which is not so good option for the skin tight clothes. However, I decided to try with it. I took off the stitches from her original pants to make a pattern and transferred it to my material. First, I started with sewing the front pockets. They are not fully functional, but she will be able to put her hands into them. I hemmed the corners and sew the backing just on the sides and protect the ends of the thread with fray check. When it comes to the back pockets, I hemmed them with uhu glue first and then I sewed them to the pants. Sewing the pants puzzle was a bit tricky. To sew properly slanted areas, you have to sew them on a line, like this. Then, after flipping to the right side, it is correct. After sewing all parts, I ironed the seams and top stitched everything for characteristic denim finish. When all of this was done, I sewed front and back parts, ironed the seams and top stitched the details. Next, I sewed the front part and hemmed the belt. I temporarily closed the legs with pins and putted them to the doll to mark the rolled up legs. I cut the excess of the material and protected the rest with spray check. Marinette pants are finished with white material with polka dots, the same like her jacket. I don't have fabric like this, so I took this white napkin and marked the pattern with washable markers for fabrics. Dots were separated 5 mm each. Then I painted the dots with diluted pink acrylic paint and washed the fabric to remove washable marker. When pattern was ready, I traced the leg cuffs with seam allowances and cut them. Always remember to protect the corners with spray check. Now it's time for another puzzles. Marinette's pants leg cuffs have got visible pink part on the outer side, and for that I've saved the cuffs I cut few minutes ago. I sew it all together and hemmed with almighty uhu. Now it is time to attach it to the pants. Important is to sew it wrong sides in, so after flipping it to the right side, everything will be proper. Then I sew the legs, flip it to the right side, and voila! I didn't expect it to look so good. Fit is super tight, so I asked my Mirin spa specialist to sand her a little more on the tights. Sorry Marinette, you have to lose few grams to fit your new pants because I am not redoing it. Her original shoes looks like they should, but the problem is that they are not cute.
Ew!
They are way too big for her, and I understand why. It was made like this to balance her small feet. However, at the same time they are very loose on her feet and it is easy to lose them. I tried to use them as pattern for new shoes made from Worbla thermoplastic, but they turned out utterly ridiculous.
Ridiculous, utterly ridiculous. You're fired.
So I decided to ignore the fact that her feet are too small and make shoes which actually fit her. I protected her foot with paper tape and shaped Worbla to fit. I cut the excess of thermoplastic, making cute small ballerina flats, which fit Marinette feet perfectly. Next, I painted them with acrylic paint, starting with white base coat, followed by light pink with black soil. The last detail are small bows which I made out of black thread and glued to the shoes with super glue. Time for her bag. The one she came is little too chunky because it is designed to fit demon-eyed Tiki in it. Fine with it, and I will not be redoing it from scratch this time. However, it still can be customized. First, let's cut off the handle. I will be replacing it later. Then I painted gold the closure and added white details to the design. And of course, lots of polka dots. Yeah, dots are her thing. To make a closure, I glued together 2 red rhinestones to make a small red ball, which I attached to the back with UV resin. I know that closure looks slightly different in the show, but this bag is not functional anyway, and it will be more stable like this. Next, I did a strap. I attached the black ribbon to the gold loops, and then I glued them to the back with UV resin, which is the best for gluing metal. I know that this also is not accurate to the show, but for the sake of scale and my sanity, I decided to simplify design a bit. I said after doing all of these details on her pants and what I planned for her jacket. When I was editing this part, I realized that Marinette's bag has got lead lining. At first I tried to glue inside red fabric, but it didn't turn out as I planned. So I just painted inside with couple layers of red paint. For fluffy velvety finish, I prepared flocking out of the acrylic yarn and glued it to the bag. After removing the excess, it looks like this. Okay, I left the worst for the last, the jacket. Luckily for me, this time I have got perfect material for it. I cut the pattern for jacket and lining and spill my hot coffee on it. Starts excellent! After cleaning this mess, I started to assemble the jacket. I started from gluing the lining to the collar with uhu glue. It will make it more stiff, but also less bulky compared to the sew. When glued right, I trimmed the material and protected it from frying with candle. You didn't see that I blurred it. Next, I sewed 2 back parts of lining and jacket. And my machine didn't like the jacket part. I ironed the seams and sew lower part of jacket and lining together. This is the first time I was sewing jacket with lining and I totally didn't know what I was doing, so stop yelling on me.
That's not how it's done!
Next, I prepared sleeves. I sewed the cuffs similar way to ones in the pants. Then I cut the excess of the material. I do not recommend this. It is better to trim it if needed after sewing the sleeve, because rolled outside cuffs have to be wider than actual sleeve. Here is the one of the trickiest part, attaching the collar. It is important to sandwich it between lining and jacket. This will give us clean finish when everything will be flipped to the right side. Then I attached the sleeves. As you see, I didn't line them, because I didn't want to add more bulk to this already tight space. Later I ironed all seams, and the last step is to sew the sleeves and sides of the jacket under armpits. I did it separately for jacket and lining. And here it is! Time for final detailing. Marinette's jacket has got black trim similar to her top. And as for her top, I tried first to do it with 3D fabric paint, but it turned out so ugly that even if Lila said that this is pretty, nobody would believe her. Off camera I did hemming with black thread, and I think it is good enough. And this is the end of part 1 of this transformation. Normally I am doing everything in one video, but this is a super long passion project on which I was working for months. What do you think about outfit I made? And what do you think about Miraculous Ladybug in general? And what is your favorite corner of this madness? Mine is this! In part 2 I will show you how I made her ladybug costume and modified her body to extend her posability. There will be a lot of things going on. The information about part 2 will be in the description box under this video and in pinned comment. See you there, bye!